The weight of a name. Major General Ellis Randall thought it would be just a quick stop for gas. What he didn't expect was that two local officers would treat him like a suspect instead of a man who had commanded troops, advised presidents, and helped draft peace terms in war zones. They had no idea that their actions were about to echo across the halls of the Pentagon. It was a warm Thursday afternoon in East Bridge County, Virginia, the kind of late summer day where the heat settles on your skin like a second layer, and even the birds seem to fly slower. Randall had just wrapped up lunch with an old colleague at Fort Winthrop. At 67, his face carried the lines of experience, not defeat, and his eyes were sharp, watchful, but weary in a way only decades of service could etch into a man. He drove a beige Nissan Altima rental, nothing extravagant, just a reliable choice for a short trip down south. He wore a navy polo tucked into worn khakis, loafers that had seen better days. There was nothing in his appearance that suggested he was a four-star general in retirement, no insignia, no aides, no convoy. Just a man off duty, unassuming. As he stepped out at the Fillmore Gas and Go off Interstate 85, he noticed a patrol car cruising by slowly, almost too slowly. It circled the lot, passed once, then returned. Randall felt his shoulders tense slightly. "Here we go," he muttered, mostly to himself. He wasn't a man prone to paranoia, but he knew how patterns work it in the battlefield, in the Pentagon, and yes, even at small-town gas stations. He had seen how suspicion could evolve into escalation, especially when it wore a badge and carried assumptions. The patrol cruiser idled across the lot for a full minute before the doors opened. Two white officers stepped out. The one leading was stocky, late 30s, with a shaved head, Officer Brent Thacker. His hand hovered near his holster, not aggressive but not relaxed either. Behind him was a younger, lankier partner, Officer Riley Kessler, clearly newer to the job and unsure of the pacing. Thacker approached with his chin lifted. "Sir, can you step away from the vehicle for a moment?" Randall kept his voice measured. "Is something wrong?" "We got a report about a suspicious vehicle," Thacker said. "A beige Altima at a gas station?" Randall asked, eyebrows raised. "It's more about the individual, sir," Kessler added nervously. You matched the report." Randall didn't flinch. "I'm retired Major General Ellis Randall of the U.S. Army. I just had lunch at Fort Winthrop. I can show you ID." He reached slowly into his back pocket and pulled out a worn leather wallet. Inside, his crisp military identification card and a Virginia retired officer's license gleamed. He extended them, but Thacker didn't even reach for them. "I'll need you to step to the side of the vehicle," he said again, firmer. Randall sighed, not out of fear, but out of that deep, exasperated frustration that only grows after being asked to prove your right to exist. "You can call this in. It'll take 30 seconds. Kessler looked at Thacker for permission. Thacker shook his head. "We're not doing this here. Step away from the vehicle now." At that moment, Randall's phone buzzed. A scheduled call with a Pentagon liaison. He answered, putting the phone on speaker. "Randall here. Stand by." He kept his hands visible, his tone even but strained. Thacker's voice sharpened. "That's it. Hands on the car. Now." Randall didn't move. "You're making a mistake." Kessler reached for his cuffs. "Sir, we're not going to ask again." And then it happened. Guns remained holstered, but their hands were forceful. Thacker pushed Randall against the side of the rental. The car was warm from the sun. His knees scraped, his shoulder twisted. The cuffs clicked shut. His phone hit the pavement, still on speaker. "General Randall? General Randall?" Came a faint but urgent voice from the phone. Kessler looked at it, but said nothing. Thacker ignored it entirely. "You're being detained," Thacker said gruffly. "You'll answer questions downtown." "For what?" "Being black at pump number 4. Randall's voice was calm, almost too calm. Thacker said nothing. Kessler glanced at his partner, his uncertainty blooming into visible doubt. But it was too late. They were already in it. What they didn't know was that the Pentagon liaison who had called Randall had heard everything. And she wasn't sitting idle. In Washington, D.C., Lieutenant Commander Clarissa Franks leaned over her desk in the earring of the Pentagon. She strained to make out the scuffling sounds, the command voices, and the voice she recognized, clearly Randall scudding through the chaos with unwavering composure. She didn't hang up. She tapped a line on her secure phone and patched in her direct supervisor. "Colonel Avery Monroe," she said firmly. "I think General Randall's in trouble." "I'm still on the line." "Location?" Monroe asked. "Phone GPS says East Bridge County, near Route 460. Monroe didn't hesitate. "Give me military liaison services and a direct patch to Virginia State Police." Back at the gas station, Thacker scribbled on a clipboard. Kessler shifted his weight, unsure what came next. Randall sat in the cruiser, cuffed and silent, looking dead ahead. He didn't plead. He didn't speak. His silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. He knew words could be turned against you, especially when the ones holding the cuffs believe they're above consequence. A few yards away, in her parked car, a young woman named Simone Holloway watched the entire scene unfold. She had started filming the moment Thacker grabbed Randall. Her caption: "Two cops arrest an old black man who just said he was a general. WTF." The video hit Twitter. Within 20 minutes, it was being tagged in posts by journalists, civil rights advocates, and veterans groups. In East Bridge County's dispatch center, a call came through. "This is Colonel Avery Monroe from the Pentagon. I need to verify whether two officers are currently detaining retired General Ellis Randall at a gas station near I-85. Dispatcher Troy Givens blinked. "Oh, we did log a suspicious vehicle. Beige Altima. Give me your supervisor. Now." Within minutes, Sheriff Miriam Huxley was on the phone being told in no uncertain terms that her deputies had just detained a decorated general, someone well known at the federal level. Her voice turned brittle. "We'll handle it." But time was already against them. Back at the gas station, a black SUV pulled into the lot, fast but controlled. Two men in dark suits stepped out. One flashed credentials: military liaison services. "Who's in charge here?" the taller one asked. Thacker straightened. "Officer Thacker, East Bridge County Sheriff's Office." "You've got a federal problem," the agent said. "The man in your car is General Ellis Randall. Your body cams better be on." Randall was released without apology. His wrists were red and bruised. The agents didn't raise their voices, they didn't need to. The moment had already detonated. "You have any idea how badly you just screwed up?" one of the agents whispered to Thacker. Randall looked at both officers and simply said, "I gave you my name." That same afternoon, the Pentagon issued a formal request for all body cam footage, dispatch logs, and written reports. Word of the incident reached the Secretary of Defense, and then the Governor of Virginia. In his hotel room later that night, Randall didn't turn on the sound during the sheriff's press conference. He didn't need to. The shape of it was familiar procedural failure, misunderstanding, miscommunication. The music of excuses. But the public wasn't buying it. By the next morning, the body cam footage had been released raw, unedited, and damning. It showed everything: the ID presented, the refusal to verify, the forceful detainment. Protests began to swell outside the sheriff's office. Respect isn't optional. If a general can get cuffed, who's next? The signs were sharp. So were the questions. Congressman Marcus Bell, a veteran himself, stood on the House floor and thundered, "If this can happen to General Randall, it can happen to any of us. And don't tell me this was a mistake." This was judgment poisoned by bias. Randall remained silent, until silence itself became part of the problem. He finally agreed to one press appearance, his only public statement delivered not from a stage, but from the steps of the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. "I've worn this country's uniform for 40 years, he said. "I've led in war zones. I've advised generals and presidents. But a few days ago, I was reduced to a suspicious individual, not for what I'd done, but for what I looked like at a gas pump." His voice was measured, clear. No theatrics, just truth. "I'm not here for political theater. I'm here because this has to mean something. Let this be the last time someone has to list their resume just to be seen." Even as institutions scrambled for damage control, the real change was forming in conversation. Veterans began sharing stories of being ignored or disrespected out of uniform. Departments across several states implemented new ID verification protocols. 2 weeks later, Randall sat across from the officers this time in a closed-door mediation. "I'm not here to destroy your careers," he said, "but I won't let this pass either. I want accountability. I want training reforms. And I want you both to stand before your department and admit what you did wrong." Kessler agreed instantly. Thacker didn't speak, but didn't walk out either. They did it. And Randall didn't attend the meeting where it happened. He didn't need to. His presence was already in the room. 6 months later, he recorded a final message in press. No crew, just him in his study at home. "My grandfather once told me," he said, "it's not what you wear that tells the world who you are. It's how they treat you when you take it off. I earned respect in this country the long way. But no one should have to earn their dignity at a gas pump." That video quiet, unpolished, and sincere became his legacy. Not the rank, not the medals, just a man asking his country to look in the mirror.